Manchester United, in scintillating fashion, has put Wolves out of the top four race, and now it comes down to the lucky three. Which team is going to end up getting third and fourth place? It's all up for grabs, and in this game, this win is the reason why. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a Manchester United versus Crystal Palace match reaction results, where I will give my player ratings for every single player. And there were some good performances today, and also give what I think about the game, the bench players, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, and overall team performance. All of that and more in this very video. So before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. At this point of recording, we are only 5 subscribers away from the goal, which is 75 subscribers, man. And I know a lot of people love to see match reactions, so if any of you out there interested, go ahead. We do match reactions every single game, pretty much, for Manchester United, and yeah, would love for you guys to join in the community. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the game itself. I thought this game was rather an improvement from Southampton. I think that's the best thing I can say. They weren't exactly in magnificent form like you saw against a Bournemouth and a Brighton and a Sheffield, but what you did see was dominance in possession. What you did see was dominance with the ball. We took our time, we made the right kind of plays, but in the end, a lot of people will probably say Crystal Palace had the better opportunities going forward, played better going forward, and in the end that might be true, but the goals stand, and the goals itself is the reason we are up. We were up, we won the game. And at the end of the day, Crystal Palace didn't score a goal. So as good as they were offensively, it doesn't mean anything if you can't put the ball in the back of the net. And thank goodness for our 2 strikers, because they put the ball so far back of the net that no goalkeeper would save either of the shots, man. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant, that those 2 goals that we scored. So obviously the first one from Rashford just sits down the entire defence, and the goalkeeper's already made his commitment. And yeah, both he sat down the defense and the goalkeeper, an easy pass straight to the corner. Just pretty much that's a great goal, man. That he embarrassed the Crystal Palace defense, and in the end, crucial goal gets us 1-0 up right when we need to get a goal up as well. Right, very close to half-time. We were kind of sluggish and slow. Still better than Southampton, but still relatively reluctant to go forward. We were side-to-side FC for the first half, bro. One side, then we'll go to another side, then we'll go back to this side, and that was all that really happened. But after the first goal, we started to see a little bit of more opportunistic runs, opportunistic passes. Bruno got into the game more after the first goal, and everything started to seem a lot better in the second half, and that's when we got the second goal, man. And that's where Bruno Fernandes on the left wing only had to get one pass, man. If the pass went through the defender's legs, it all set up everything. And lucky, it was a lucky pass, but in the end, you have to take the risks. I say this all the time. You have to take the risks to get the rewards. Bruno Fernandes took a risk to go and nutmeg the defender to get it to Rashford. And then Rashford kicks it right to Martial. And Martial, one of the best finishers I've seen this season, absolutely tucks it away to the bottom corner. No keeper stood a chance. No defender stood a chance. Perfect movement from our players. And that saw the result for a 2-0 lead. Now, we have to talk about Crystal Palace. They did end up actually getting a goal from a beautiful piece of play from Zaha. Absolutely skillful. Zaha is a fantastic skillful player, can go both ways. He ended up going to the, I believe it was the left, and then he whipped in a hell of a cross, took every single defender out of it, and Ayew, who honestly I did not even see on the TV. The guy just like, boom, you know, just absolutely ran in there and got an easy goal. But unfortunately, due to like a toenail, he was offside, and it was the right call to give it offside. I know a lot of people are saying that we're VAR Chester United, Varchester, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, there's no arguing that, man. I know it's not the most easiest thing to comprehend. I know it's not exactly the way the football probably should be. In many cases, no one will ever complain if that goal was onside or not. It should have been given a goal. But when VAR is put into play, if the decisions like that, even if it's by that much or even less than that much, if it comes into play and it's offside, that's what VAR is there for at the end of the day. And it's a stupid, honestly, I think VAR is stupid. I think it's not necessary. And in most cases, no one would ever call that goal offside if there wasn't VAR. But it is here, and we have to use it for the purposes of it being here while it still is here. So in the end, for all those people commenting about Barchester United, in the end, Barchester United or not, the right decision was made. And you can keep on bantering yourself because Manchester United were victors today. And yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the decision. It's no one else's fault. It was the right decision that was made. Right decision from the very, very beginning. They called it basically from the start. As soon as VAR came on your screen, you knew it was offside. So yeah. Anyway, move on. We'll go to the player ratings now. So obviously, let's start off with David De Gea. I would give David De Gea I'd give him an 8 out of 10, to be honest. Honestly, that might be a little bit high for a lot of people, but he kept us in there. He kept us in this game. He kept Crystal Palace scoreless pretty much. And the defenders, at least the Victor Lindelof, I'm going to target him later. But there was a very, very patchy defense in line today, where it was good on some levels and terrible on others. And David De Gea, through many circumstances of having an open goal in front of him, in front of them, or a 1v1 situation, he dealt with a lot of fantastic shots, great saves, miraculous saves, some of them, but most of them using his feet. This is the David De Gea that we all know and love. So I think an 8 out of 10 is fair. I wouldn't say he was man of the match. We'll get to that later because there's only one player in my mind that's man of the match, and by goodness, I love to see it. Anyway, we'll go to Wan Bissaka, and I thought Wan Bissaka was a lot better today than he was in the last two games. Wan Bissaka, for me, was a comfortable 7 out of 10. Now, I know I gave him 7 out of 10 for Southampton, but for me, this time, I gave Wan Bissaka a 7 out of 10 last week out of generosity, to be honest, because he gets a lot of stick, and not every performance is going to be great, but he did his job, and he gets a 7. But this one is a high 7, maybe a 7.5, let's say. We'll give Wan Bissaka a 7.5 because he was great. Again, forward, he made a lot of attacking runs. He got a few crosses in, but attacking wise, I don't think him or Fosu Mensah were that relevant. But defensively, he was great. Again, he nearly got to Zaha's cross, which could have led to a goal. It's not necessarily his fault that cross went through. Zaha's just an amazing player doing an amazing play. And Wan Bissaka was just the last one there. But I thought he was very, very good today. And again, consistency. He's a rather consistent player. Of course, 2 bad games and everybody goes on the tantrum. But for Wan Bissaka, I don't think anybody with a logical brain, or I don't want to be too mean towards the people that will go against him, but people that actually believed in him knew that this was only going to be a short, temporary thing and he would be back to normal. Going to Victor Lindelof. Now, I'm very, very torn on what to give to Victor Lindelof because in my mind, and this is the ruthless side of me, I would give him a 5 because he just was everywhere. Like, he was being twisted and turned. And he just wasn't that great. He could have given away a penalty. In my opinion, that could have very well been given a penalty on any other day. Luckily for Manchester United, Zaha, it was a dive. Like, there wasn't that much contact, but it could have been called, and I don't think VAR would have overturned it. But in my opinion, it's not a penalty. But again, Lindelof was at fault for that. Lindelof was at fault for a lot of things. I'm going to give him a 6, and the reason why I'm giving him a 6 instead of a 5 is because Lindelof had so much to do that, of course, you're going to pick out some bad things that he did. It's not... He was basically the centre-back they targeted. They targeted him every single way possible. Ayew targeted him. Zaha targeted him. Townsend targeted him. All of them. Everybody targeted Victor Lindelof. And in the end, we kept a clean sheet. So I can't say Victor Lindelof had a 5 out of 10 performance, even though if that was any other game and we ended up conceding, I would give him a 5 out of 10 because he had so much to do. Absolutely so much to do, and he was partly the reason for some of the shots on goal, especially one where he had to stretch and he basically gifted it to the Crystal Palace player. Maybe not by design, but in the end that's exactly what happened, and luckily De Gea was there to save it. In the end, I think a 6 is fair. If people give him a 5, I'm absolutely okay with that. In my mind, I probably should give him a 5. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he had so much work to do that game, that he did a lot of positive things that will probably go unnoticed because of all the negative things that he did do. And that's where I stand with Victor Lindelof. Now, Harry Maguire, in my opinion, was absolutely sensational. I'm giving Harry Maguire an 8 out of 10. I thought he was tremendous. Won a lot of headers in the box on both boxes. Our box was a very good attacking threat. Defensively, didn't put a foot wrong. Slide tackle, he stopped Zaha. Nothing came from that side in the end. Everything came from the right side. Anything that came from the left side was dealt with like that. And Harry Maguire, in my opinion, is the main reason for that. A lot of people could give Harry Maguire the Man of the Match award if it wasn't for one player. If this one player just didn't perform, Harry Maguire would have been my Man of the Match. But in the end, he doesn't get the Man of the Match for me, but he was tremendous and people need to acknowledge how good he was. I thought he was absolutely amazing. And down the line, we're going to need consistency. If we can get a consistent Harry Maguire with that type of performance, instead of it's good, then fantastic, then it goes back to good. If we can get fantastic performances from Harry Maguire every single game, then we could seriously have something special in that defensive line. But early time will tell. He's the captain for a reason. He absolutely delivered on his captaincy performance tonight. So fair play to Harry Maguire. Next up, Timothy Fosu Mensah. And I have to give a big congratulations to Timothy Fosu Mensah on finally getting decent game time. Basically 101 minutes in the Premier League. Full 90 minutes in a position that he's not accustomed to. He's not a left back, and I thought he was a 7 out of 10 performance. Now, a lot of people would give him a 6, but I have to look at the circumstances there. He's come back after a year, barely played anything. He's failed in his last 2 loans. He's come into a position where he's not accustomed to. He's probably never played before. He's more accustomed to the right back position, the centre back position, potentially a CDM position, but he's never played left back. And the commentator said he's actually never played left back in the Premier League whatsoever. So in the end, you look at that and you look at the performance. I think defensively he was sound. Defensively he was pretty good. But you can clearly see there's a missing gap for Luke Shaw there. And that's offensively. Offensively, Luke Shaw actually brought something that Fosu Mensah just didn't bring today. And you could laugh all you want, but in my opinion, Luke Shaw, attacking-wise, even though he doesn't get the stats to prove it, is a much better left back, a much better fullback than Fosu Mensah is. And we definitely saw that today. We saw an element of attacking play that we missed, and that's Luke Shaw. And people can cry about it all they want, but I feel like I'm watching a different game to you guys then if you don't agree with me. In the end, it's your opinion. Let me know. Do you really think Luke Shaw was a big miss today? Because I think it was. But nevertheless, all credit to Fosu Mensah on a great performance on his first game back, playing a position he's not supposed to be playing. He had to cover based on 2 injuries to both of our left backs, and he did extremely well. And I'm very, very proud of him. And maybe this begs the question, do we need another fullback if Fosu Mensah can be a backup fullback, whether it's right back or left back? He's shown that he can play left back defensively. So in the end, I feel like he could be a great cover player that can help cover all positions in case of an injury. And I think he would do very, very well at that. In the end, only time's going to tell. We already know that Fosu Mensah has been rumoured to leave for a while now, but we just don't know what's going to happen with him. Only time's going to tell. We'll go into the midfield now. Let's start off with Scott McTominay. I'm going to give Scott McTominay a 7. Scott McTominay was very, very good today defensively. We saw elements, small elements of what Scott McTominay could be as a CDM. I thought, of course, Matic, as soon as Matic came on, the CDM position became absolutely whole. It became absolutely filled. But Scott McTominay had elements of a CDM there, and I feel like I see it every game, but maybe people don't see it. Or maybe it's just me hallucinating it, thinking it, wanting to believe it. And that's where I think maybe he can be a CDM, because he intercepted the play today. Of course, he gave away a lot of fouls. His passing needs a bit of work. I feel like he has a bullet of a pass. I don't ever see Scott McTominay playing a passive, relaxed pass. When I see Scott McTominay pass the ball, it's like a bullet. And that's obviously different to Matic. I see Matic as a more calm player. I see Scott McTominay as more of a fiery player. But in the end, either whether it's calmness or it's fieriness and desire, it doesn't matter to me, because even though they play it differently, they're both doing the same job. And I think Scott McTominay did it well. And I feel like he's much better as a starter than as a bench player, to be honest. But that's up to Ollie now. Does Ollie really want to play Scott McTominay for the rest of the season? Because in my opinion, Matic needs to start for majority of the games. I feel like he only rested Matic for the Chelsea game in the FA Cup. And if that's the reason, obviously it worked out this time. But against West Ham, that might not be the case. And I think we just need to be very smart with our team selection going forward. Paul Pogba. Can I just say, that absolute turn on Paul Pogba did at the very end of the game, around 99 minutes, if you guys want the exact number. I believe it was around 99 minutes played. That turn, oh my goodness, that is filthy, man. That's something you'd expect Zaha to pull off any game. Zaha, obviously a fantastic, skillful player, former Manchester United player, but Paul Pogba was great today. A much better performance than Southampton. Still, he had a bit of a turnover issue here going on, but nothing too serious that led to a vital shot on goal. I'm going to give Paul Pogba a 7 because the way he impacted the midfield was sensational. He played a lot deeper today than he usually does. Sometimes he likes to come back here and there, but he would mainly play dead in the middle. I think he helped Scott McTominay a lot today in the midfield, helped push him back a bit, played a deeper role, brought in killer balls, absolutely had a great defensive display as well. Attacking-wise, again, he was there. He was creating chances. He played a few decent balls into the attack. But again, nothing spectacular. And that's why he gets a 7 and not an 8 or a 9, because he didn't have that killer pass or a pass to actually go and create a chance. But I thought this was a very superb, consistent and reliable Paul Pogba today. Absolutely, that's the main thing for Paul Pogba. I usually call him the mastermind. Today I'm calling him Mr. Reliable, because Bruno was Mr. Reliable last time I decided to give nicknames. But this time, that solely was Paul Pogba. Absolutely reliable today. Going into Bruno Fernandes, and again, another player that I'm going to give a 7. I feel like every single player on this team is getting a 7. In the end, I thought Bruno Fernandes was very quiet in the first half, but in the second half, he came to life. He had tremendous vision to try and find players. And Crystal Palace defended a lot of his passes extremely well. But the thought of actually making a ball, it's like FIFA, you know. It's just the absolute ball, just a long ball down the line and hoping and getting it on target. And it was for the most part. Of course, Crystal Palace defended it well. Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, they were lurking, and they knew that eventually a ball would go through. He was very, very good. He was part of the second goal, a very crucial part, that if it wasn't for that nutmeg pass, that goal would never happen. We'd probably still be breathing heavily, scared that Crystal Palace will get something out of this game. But yeah, he was great. I'm gonna give him a 7. He was tremendous in my eyes. He was tremendous. Now, Mason Greenwood. To be honest, Mason Greenwood again was rather. I guess you could say he wasn't present in the game. I feel like Mason Greenwood did a lot better though. So I don't think a 7 is the greatest score to give him, but 6.5 for me is definitely a great score. He was very, very vital. Again, he had a filthy turn as well. He always likes to run and attack. He always pushes. He knows exactly what to do to get out of trouble. And that's all I saw from Mason Greenwood this game, man. He is fantastic at actually getting out of trouble, running away from defenders and finding a little bit of space with the ball to go and get a pass off. And again, I think we needed to get him more chances in front of the goal. But again, Crystal Palace did tremendously well to prevent Mason Greenwood from even having a shot. He had one shot that game and he scuffed it. In the end, he got subbed off fairly early. So I think a 6.5 is fair. In the end, I thought he could have done better. But a player that I probably didn't even think should even be playing today played, and he did better than last week. So fair play to Mason Greenwood. I'm going to go to Martial next. I thought Martial was brilliant once again. It's a very, very similar performance to Southampton, except he didn't really miss too many chances. He didn't really get many chances either. I thought his striking play was sensational. His hold-up, his Marcus Rashford and him once again linking up every single time they ran together, man. They linked up sensationally, and for me, he's an 8 out of 10. I thought he was amazing today. And you have to give respect where it's due. A fantastic goal as well. Marcus Rashford played it to him. Beautiful bottom corner finish. In saying that, Van Aanholt, I believe his name is, the left back for Crystal Palace, had a really, really bad injury due to that goal. Again, it's an accidental injury. Nothing really came from Martial. He had to shoot at the end of the day, and Van Aanholt was in the way. Ended up falling, I believe, on his head. So very, very dangerous. Of course, anything related to the head could be very severe. So I hope everything goes well for Van Aanholt. I hope he's safe. I hope the injury's not too bad, and I hope he gets well soon. In the end, I really do rate Crystal Palace as a team. They're one of my favourite teams to watch that's not a top team in the Premier League. And it's a shame to see one of their better players, if not the best player besides Zaha on that team, go down with an injury like that. So hopefully things get better for him. I just wanted to put that out there with the Martial finish. And again, no real intention behind it. He had to shoot. He did this shot, and unfortunately an injury came out of it. Nothing really Martial could do there. And obviously the last person to talk about, Marcus Rashford, and this was by far his best game of not only of the season, but definitely of this lockdown, but probably of the season as well. Wowee. He had a fantastic game. The only mistake I could see he ever did was the cross from the right-hand side. That was so bad that if there was fans there, I bet you the top half of that stadium would probably have a field day trying to get that ball. But besides that, man, what a performance. What an absolute performance from Marcus Rashford. He got a goal, and the goal absolutely embarrassed all of Crystal Palace's defence. And he got a fantastic assist, and it's a one-touch. That's something that Manchester United are not accustomed to, one-touch football, the Man City style of football, really. If I had to compare Manchester United's type of play to anybody, it would be Liverpool, which is very, very surprising. But we played similar to the Man City in that type of goal, and that's what makes it so beautiful, because it's diverse. It's something that I didn't expect to happen for Manchester United, a goal like that, but it went in, and it was a beautiful play from him, and he was by far, for me, the man of the match. I'm giving him a 9 out of 10. Again, welcome back, Marcus Rashford. It's been a while since I've seen you, but now that you're here, mad respect to you, mad respect to all of the team, but especially Martial and Rashford. Big shout outs to you guys for a sensational performance. When a team that is playing decent but not exactly creating any chances, because Crystal Palace loves to play a very, very heavy defensive line, the chances that we did make, we had to take, and both of them took it extremely well. And that's where the shout out comes. We didn't play great attacking football today, I have to be honest. We didn't. But we did exactly what we were supposed to do, and we beat Crystal Palace a 2-0. And I'm happy. I predicted a 2-0 victory. I didn't think Crystal Palace had enough to score, but fair play to Crystal Palace as well for a fantastic game. Honestly, a very entertaining watch. They probably should have scored. They probably should have. But in the end, that's a scoreline that's very respectable. And now we go into the FA Cup against Chelsea, a game where, to be honest, I'm not really too bothered about the FA Cup, but I know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, and I know he's going to pick a decent team for this game. So now we have to focus on the FA Cup. Of course, who wouldn't like to go into an FA Cup final? I mean, for many teams, it's one of the goals of the season to get to a cup final, and we might just do it. But in the end, that's not my concern. My concern is top 4. So squad rotation for Chelsea is a must. Let's go to the bench. I don't think he actually picked all 5 of his substitutes. I don't know why that's not a thing, especially when we're 2-0 up. Give some people a break. Give Martial and Rashford a break. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're going to actually have a lot of squad rotation against Chelsea, because Bruno didn't actually get subbed off. Pogba didn't get subbed off. Matic got subbed on, and you had Martial and Rashford still there. You had Greenwood, who did come off, who could potentially start. I think we're going to play a lot of squad rotation against Chelsea, which might be a tactical move, or it might not. Who knows at the end of the day? All we know is that this was the performance that we needed. We could focus on Chelsea another time in the next 2 days with a match prediction. But for now, in this reaction, it was a great performance. I'm not worried about the team selection at the moment for that next game. But going into the bench, we'll start with Jesse Lingard. I thought Jesse Lingard was actually alright today. But again, 6 out of 10 because he didn't really create much while he was on. He had a lot of time. And again, he was good. He ran around. He defended decently. He was in attacking situations. He had a shot on goal, which got deflected, which got blocked pretty much by the defender. And yeah, that's all I can really say about Jesse Lingard. Nemanja Matic nearly got a very good pass to Bruno Fernandes that actually got the goal. I'm not meant to say nearly. That's why I got a little bit confused. He did. But yeah, I'll give him a 6.5 because he was decent. Again, he turned the ball over in a really bad situation. But besides that, Matic was great, to be honest, when he came on. And that midfield was a lot more bossed when he was there. And that's a question that Ole needs to ask himself now. Do you trust the young lad at Scott McTominay, or do you go with the experience in Nemanja Matic? And whatever the decision is, I'll have to back it until it proves to be the wrong choice or the right choice. So hopefully, whatever he picks, it's the right choice. Because I really thought Scott McTominay had a decent game today as well. And the last... Who was it? Who was the last actual selection? Was there another one? Look, I am lost for words at the moment. I don't think we had another substitution. So Mason Greenwood went out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 substitutions we had. So that's very, very strange. If I'm missing someone, again, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I feel like that was it. And Ollie's team rating, team selection, I'm going to give him a 7 because I did not expect Fosu Mensah whatsoever. And I was really scared. I can't lie. I was really scared. And I judged these team selections before the actual game starts. So I was scared of that left-hand side because I know he's not naturally a left back. And the team performance in my eyes was a 7 out of 10. Above average, played decent, got the result. 2 world-class players playing their game and getting 2 goals. And Manchester United are now in a race for top 4 with the 3 teams, the 3 special teams. Chelsea, Leicester and Man United all fighting for 2 spots. One team is going to miss out on top 4. Who is it going to be? Chelsea have Liverpool next after us in the FA Cup. Are they going to have squad rotation? Are they going to go all in on the FA Cup? I don't know. What about Leicester? They have Spurs next. They beat Sheffield tonight, put the pressure on us, and we've answered the call. Now, do Tottenham go and beat Leicester, and then that gives us the chance to go and finish 3rd? In the end, there's a lot to uncover. We made a lot harder than it needed to be with this draw to Southampton, but we're still in it, and we're still one of the favourites to get there. So don't give your hopes up on Manchester United just yet. All it takes is 1 loss and we're out. But all it takes is 2 victories and we're 3rd. So in the end, Manchester United could very well make the top 4 still, and this is getting big, man. My heart's beating. The actual atmosphere within the household, not just in the stadium, because it's dead in there. There's nothing. But the atmosphere, the pressure, the actual excitement of every single game now becomes more and more. That West Ham game is going to be absolutely thrilling. Maybe it might be the worst game you'll ever see, but as fans, it's going to be heart-wrenching, whatever the result may be, because we need that result. And any tackle is going to be a tackle where you hold your breath. Any shot on goal is going to be a, oh my goodness type of moment, whether it's a goal or not. And that's what I love about football. That's what football is all about. So Leicester fans, Chelsea fans, Man United fans, get really excited. This is the end. This is the end of the season. This is the stretch. And no matter what happens for your guys' teams, whether it's us falling 5th or any other team that I mentioned falling 5th, just get excited, because there's no feeling like this in football, man. Just knowing that you're in a fight and your team could potentially be the one on top. It's a great feeling. and hopefully we are. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the AN Sports Show YouTube channel. Again, very long video. I apologize. Sometimes I ramble. I can't keep my mouth shut, man. It's a fantastic victory, and sometimes when you love a team like you do with Manchester United, especially, sometimes I just can't stop talking about it, and that's why I make so many videos on them. Anyway, have a wonderful and safe day. Take care and peace.